I reserve the right to understand that I may be wrong, but also still believe what I believe. And fuck you. Okay.
Okay. What's up, everybody? It's Metal Biker Dude and
DZAN, what is going on, people? Today is Friday, November 3rd. We hope you had a fantastic Halloween. If you love the content we do on this channel, hit that like button, share this around, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below. Dirty D, what up, Detroit? Look at
what
that
up,
hat,
Detroit?
though. What up, Detroit? And how about them boys? What up, Detroit? Let's talk about that overtime win, Dirty. Come on, let's not waste any time.
Hey,
Talk
hey,
to me
hey.
about it. Come on.
Listen, man. Listen. I've been saying it. This is the year where we make that step. And
Woo!
listen, this came off of two losses, albeit one of them was an overtime, but this is coming off of two losses, and you have to dig deep, and especially in hockey, man. An overtime, number one, whoever wins the face-off, the initial face-off on overtime, is generally in a good position.
Yeah.
And then we kept the puck the entire overtime, dug in, and you could see guys were tired. And finally, they swapped everybody out. We maintained possession. Lucas Raymond gets the puck, feeds it over to JT Compher. JT Compher feeds it back to Lucas Raymond, backdoor, boom, game over.
Beautiful.
Sorry about it.
Sorry about it. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry,
Happens.
not sorry. Beautiful. And it's such a long game hockey. So to come off of, you know what I mean? Like you said, the back-to-back, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's such a long game that's gonna happen. It's how do you come back from it? How do you form up as a team? You know what I mean? Beautiful showing in these. It's crazy because in like basketball, it's different with OT. They run out the clock. In football, if you get that touchdown, you know what I mean? Like it's different for every single sport, but it's a nail biter nonetheless. And yeah, man, I'm really excited for the boys though over there. I'm really excited. Guys, we have to talk about a horrible robbery that happened just before Halloween. In Saudi Arabia, a poor man by the name of Francis Ngannou was robbed by judges in his fight with the greatest heavyweight. I'm just kidding. Of course, he's the greatest heavyweight boxer. No one thought that Francis was going to have the showing that he did. Lost split decision versus Tyson Fury.
Did he
Bullshit.
lose?
No, he did not lose. No, he did not lose. Dirty D. The third
was knocked down.
Third or fourth round. Yeah, that knockdown. That's what I'm talking about. That third or fourth round, man. That knockdown was a
boxing is a different animal though, because everything is so political. Everything about the sport is political.
Yeah.
And you can't be Francis Ngannou and come in and get a victory in your first fight against one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
Right.
It's never going to happen. They're not going to allow it.
They're not going to allow it to happen.
And
right.
That's
if he didn't just get an outright knockout, right? Then it's just not going to happen. They gave Tyson 20 seconds to stand up. The referee decided to tell Francis to back up several times. This was during the knockdown. He knocked him down, and instead of immediately starting a count, he instead kept telling Francis to go, and then turning around, and instead of going 5, 6, he goes 1, 2. He gave the man 20 seconds to recover. Bullshit number 1. Elbow to the face. Bullshit number 2. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
All I can say about the elbow to the face thing is, if you want to get in the octagon, let's do this.
Exactly. Yeah. If you want to imagine this fight just imagine the same fight.
Or Conor versus 4-ounce Floyd.
Gloves. Come on. 4-ounce
Conor
gloves.
versus Floyd in
same
octagon.
thing.
Right.
But we'll do the same rule set. Just we'll shrink it from a 12-ounce glove to a 4-ounce glove. You are obliterated. Come on, man. Come on. That was a robbery if I've ever seen one.
If you ever
Horrible,
been
man.
hit with a 12-ounce glove, or even better yet, a 14-ounce glove, you realize that you could stay in a boxing match for a little while.
Right, right, right.
I've sparred before, and I told you anyway. It's not anything that you can't handle.
Right.
I mean, even the softest of people could take a 14-ounce glove. 12-ounce, it gets a little more rigid and
Right.
in the way it feels, but it's nothing like a 4-ounce glove, and it certainly isn't like an empty hand.
Yeah. Yeah. God, bare knuckle. God, don't even. But
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think that the territory had anything to do with it. I think just like Dirty said, the simple fact of him going up against one of the greatest in his boxing debut. When I feel like they were really trying to get Tyson to agree to an exhibition, and Tyson and Fury were both not having it. They're like, no, we want the real deal.
Right.
And I think that
which is why it ended up overseas.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, exactly. So I don't know, man.
It was cool that they put it together.
Right.
Because obviously it would be impossible in the United States with all the governing bodies that are involved.
Yep.
The fact that they pulled this off was fantastic.
And the amount of people that showed up to this, I mean, they just poured out the money for the people. God, man, the main event started 2 hours before they even walked out. They did a whole show. I mean, it was exhausting. Yeah. It was exhausting. Excuse me. But we got to talk about something a little bit more disappointing. Are you ready for this, Dirty D? Dana White, breaking news. Jon Jones is out. He ripped his pec from the bone, basically. 8 months, gonna need surgery.
Soft.
Just had surgery.
Soft.
Get in there, rub some dirt in it. What are you doing? Yeah. Soft.
Don't like my dad.
Tore a tendon from the bone. Yeah, but is he bleeding? No.
Pussy.
Ice it up and get in there. Yeah, so what a huge blow. I mean, and now we get one of the most pointless.
It's a shit card.
Pointless cards.
It's a shit card.
It is absolutely ruined. People, if you don't know what we're talking about, let's break it down here for you, because Dana White said that the fight is off. It's still going to happen when Jon Jones is better. Stipe and Jon Jones will fight for the heavyweight title from Dana White. Until then, Tom Aspinall, Palovich, they're going to be fighting for the interim title. But wait a minute, Damon. You just said that Jon Jones and Stipe are going to be fighting for the title. Why would there be an interim title if there's already a fight lined up for the title? Because this is the UFC and it makes no fucking sense. That is why. And Dana White can do whatever the fuck he wants to do. There it is. Jon Jones says, I want Stipe. Stipe was like, I would have taken the interim fight. I believe in myself. I would have won that fight, and then I would have fought Jones. Dana White says, I don't believe you, and I have you on contract with Jones. So we're going to extend that out. We're going to have this useless title fight. He is making the winner of this fight wait until they fight, and then they recover from that fight.
I don't know how he's getting away with this one.
I mean, he better be paying them a cool mill for this, because you are basically going to take them out of work,
hot mill,
for a year to a year and a half out of work. Where's the incentive? It better be money. Right. And it's 2 weeks notice. You want me to put my career on the line on 2 weeks notice to be out for a year and a half after that to maybe fight for the belt? These guys might retire after they fight each other.
When you first said that, that's where I was going with it.
It's like,
we don't even know if Stipe is going to fight again.
This should, this should just be for the belt. Because then what are you going to do, Dana? Stipe and Jones fight. They both retire, and now you have an
both
interim
of them
champion.
Are very long in the tooth.
Exactly. And now Stipe is going to be a year older. A year older already. And then now you have the winner, either Aspinall Pavlovich,
My
an
first thought
interim
was,
champion.
who are you selling this one to? Because nobody's buying it that I know.
No one. I mean, I'm glad that, look, Alex Pieta and Prohashka got bumped up to the main event. They're not even really. I saw this on ESPN that it is for the vacant light heavyweight title fight. Nowhere else are they even promoting this as a vacant light heavyweight title fight. So I'm thoroughly confused
I
on
haven't heard
what
that,
is
so
happening
that's
with this
interesting.
card.
Yeah.
I am lost, Dirty D. I am so lost. I am very, very upset about this card. It's obvious what the UFC is doing right in front of our face. And honestly, bro, I'm really at the point I'm ready for Dana to go. I'm ready for Dana to go. I don't know if he is the main drive behind these crazy fucking decisions that sometimes we're just like, it's obvious bullshit. And you're sitting here and you're telling me to my face, we'll see how this thing plays out. Or
How many
we
times
got to take a look at it.
How many times have you heard Dana say, I don't care what other people think.
Exactly.
I'm going to do what I want to do.
What I want to do. They literally asked him, Dirty, they asked him, what happens if Stipe and Jones retire? What do you do with the interim champion? And Dana said, well, you know, to be the best, you have to beat the best. So I would like for one of those guys to stick around, but we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. You gave me nothing. You gave me nothing. Okay, that means that whatever happens, and I will be 100% on board with whatever happens. You know what I mean? It's exhausting at this point. And that's the key word of today's episode. Exhausting. Listening to him sometimes, man, I'm just like, I'm ready for Mick or whoever is going to be taking over to just take over. I almost feel like he's half checked out ever since the slap situation. You know what I mean? And I ain't talking power slap, people. So you know what I mean? What are your thoughts? Like, November card, it's shit, right? I mean,
yeah, it is. That's the first thing that came out of my mouth. It's a shit card, and it's disappointing that we didn't have more depth on that card to begin with. But I get it. You got John Jones. I get it. But you didn't factor in what happens with an injury. And now you're left with a glorified fight night card.
Dirty. Are we spoiled? We just had Abu Dhabi fall through on 2 weeks notice and get built up to be the best card of the year on 2 weeks notice. And the same thing just happened again, except they didn't perform to that same expectation. Maybe there's a little bit of that, but it's still fucked up. I reserve that right. I reserve the right to understand that I may be wrong, but also still believe what I believe. And fuck you. Okay.
Okay.
I'm a complicated being, Dirty D.
I don't know if that's complicated or just flat out silly.
Amazing.
Silly, dumb.
No, not what? What? You want to talk about?
I'm looking
dumb?
for the words here.
No, Dirty D. What was dumb was, we're getting right into music. What was dumb was Nnutthowze dropping with only 7 songs on the album. 10-track EP, 3 skits, Tech 9.
Some skits.
You getting me 3 skits on a 10-track album, Tech 9? It sounds great. It sounds fantastic. And it was the perfect Halloween drop. If you guys do not know what I'm talking about.
Maybe you are in the wrong. Maybe I am in the right. Maybe it's a great idea to shorten your fucking albums.
Not, what is this? Not 27 minutes, Dirty D. That is ridiculous. That is, what are we doing? That is a short walk in the park. I don't, come on. What are we doing here? Guys, we're talking about Tech 9 presents Nnutthowze. Signaling.
I have yet to listen to, by the way.
And I'm not going to ruin anything for him except saying that it's fucking awesome and everybody was on point and the flows were amazing. It was not reminiscent of the old Nnutthowze, which makes sense. It was over 25 years ago. But nevertheless, everybody was on their game and it was beautiful. Everybody, they kept up with each other. Not only do they keep up with each other, but a theme that you're going to see throughout this album is that they match each other's flows. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are collaborating with another artist, mainly two rappers, to kind of have identical or similar
even a
flows
rock
in
and
your
a hip
verse,
hop guy.
right? To have that similar kind of, I guess, what would you call it in vocals when you're singing the same kind of melody,
Tenor.
I guess, right? When you're singing the same sort
I
of
would
melody,
say,
different words,
I'd
but the
say
same.
tenor.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
say the same tenor.
Yeah. Different words, but the same, yeah, flow structure, I guess.
Right.
They do that throughout the whole album, and it brings it it brings it together so much. That's something that we are missing a lot from the Strangulation series. For those that are big Tech-9 fans, you know that he's had plenty of compilation albums, Psychology 101, plenty of compilation albums, and he had a string of them where he brought everybody in his whole label, and it was called The Strangulation. They did 1 and 2, and it was a great album, but
Strange music.
you can tell that they were all different, and every verse might have been recorded on different days in different studios.
Oh, it
And
always is.
you know what I mean? And you could tell that it wasn't as, this felt like they were in the same room collaborating with each other and doing it in the same booth, same studio. It was really, really, really good.
Listen, when you get a really good microphone, right? And
it's pretty.
You want the ability to have everybody on the same mic, because a microphone, just the microphone, let's set aside all of the other gear and everything else that goes into the circuit of everything, because even this is part of the circuit. Even this has circuitry in it. It's got tubes and stuff.
Yeah.
Any good microphone, a high-end mic, has tubes and all of that. That's all part of the circuit. So when it comes out the backside and goes into, say, a mic preamp, that mic preamp adds to the circuitry. And then it goes into a compressor and an EQ and whatever else. That's all part of the circuitry. So when you go to record, if you're using just one different component, just one, and sometimes it's not even the fact that it's a different component, it could be the exact same components, but if they're in a different studio, that means that you're going to introduce in that circuit, you're going to introduce different things. You know, maybe they used a steel transformer instead of a nickel, right? So that is going to change everything dramatically. And I know I'm getting very deep in the minutiae here, but it's all part of the circuit. So when you switch anything out at all, it's going to
very
change.
easy to tell too, right? Yeah,
it's going to stick out. Yeah. So that's what you're talking about there. So the fact that it sounds that way means that it probably was recorded all at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
And the only reason that you just record it separately is because, you know, maybe one person's on vacation or on tour or something like that, or they have a baby
deadline or something. Right.
There's a myriad of reasons why, but that can really mess an album up, man. All that circuitry.
Absolutely. And shout out to Strange Music. I don't want to leave out King ISO dropped his album. It's called Ildren, like children, but without the CH. Ildren. King ISO. I almost can't listen to this man. There's a couple of artists that it's a little hard to listen to. Listen, guys, when you're struggling a little bit, you know, mentally especially, and you have some artists, you have some artists that are so vulnerable and so relatable that you sometimes just don't want to hear it because you're not ready to hear that in yourself, right?
Yes.
King ISO, he is one of those artists. Dax is one of those artists for me. There's just some of those that they're very emotional, and it's hard to listen to them sometimes. Sometimes it's hard for me to listen to certain Eminem songs. It's difficult sometimes. The amount of emotion that goes into what they're saying.
That 100%.
So relatable. So I have not listened to this album yet. I've heard a couple songs and I actually turned it off, to be honest with you. So I do plan on going back and listening to this. He's a very, very gifted, talented lyricist, singer, songwriter. This man is amazing, guys.
Everything I've heard from
King ISO.
King
yes.
ISO, it has been epic. Yeah.
Epic. And he started years ago with that gimmicky, like supersonic fast flow. I mean, obliterating fast flow. And I'm glad to see that he just does all of it now. It's not just staying in one pocket. He's singing, he's dragging his flows out, and it's great. It's all coming together fantastic. The 2 songs that I've heard so far sound absolutely amazing. I'm really excited to get into this.
Nobody chops
20-track album.
Oh,
an actual album.
Okay, that'll be
an hour and 10 minutes.
That'll be
a 2-parter. That'll be a 2-parter.
No, that'll be 3.
Oh my god.
I'll split it up throughout the month.
You guys, we thank you so much for joining us. That's all we have for today. We will be back next week. Hopefully we get some more news on them beefing up this card, because I don't know, man. This might be the first card I don't pay for in a while. My wife did not hear that. Might still be in the budget. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Peace.
Peace.